Welcome to my new and improved This Day in History segment here on the GoodMicWork Commentaries YouTube channel. This is one of the changes I've been wanting to make to my channel going into the summer here. I wanted to take this video concept and tweak it up a little bit and shorten up the length of some of these This Day in Histories and give you more of them. So my plan is to try to come up here much more frequently than I was doing before, and instead of giving you a 30-minute or an hour-long review on something, I'm just going to talk for 5, 10, or 15 minutes about a particular date in history because there's historic shit going down on every single day of the year, and I have a lot of memories and a lot of moments in wrestling that I would love to relive with you guys, and this is one of the ideas that I had. So you will see these kind of get a slow start here. My next one I have planned for June 7th, and then after that they will be as frequent as I can make them. Some of them will even be live. Some of them will be on camera. Some of them will be off camera. And if you have any suggestions or days or moments, matches, or events in wrestling history that you would like me to talk about on a This Day in History episode in the future, feel free to leave them in the comments below, shoot them to me on Twitter at GoodMicWork, email them to me, whatever. I'm always looking for ideas. So let's just jump right into it here. Going forward, as I start these This Day in Histories, I'm just going to open up and start talking about stuff. You're not going to hear any plugs or bullshit or channel updates or anything like that. But since this is the first kind of episode of this new relaunch This Day in History, I just wanted to fill you in there. So for this episode, we're going to be talking about June 2nd, 1987. This was a WWF Superstars of Wrestling television taping. This was the big title switch. Intercontinental title changing hands, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat dropping the belt to the Honky Tonk Man. Now, this match did not air on TV until June 13th. And I had a little bit of a struggle there. I'm like, how do I do, if I want to talk about this match on a This Day in History, what do I do? Do I do it on the day that it aired on the 13th, or do I do it the day that it happened on the 2nd? Either way, I'm probably going to get people in the comments. So I chose to do it on the day that it happened. So they taped this match on June 2nd, 1987 to air on the 13th. And I remember when this match aired, I was at home watching it as it happened. And I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. I was just a kid back then. I was at WrestleMania 3. I saw Ricky the Dragon Steamboat beat Randy Savage for the Intercontinental title in one of the most memorable feuds of the 80s. And when I saw this as a kid, not knowing the ins and outs, not knowing the backstory, not knowing the reason why, of all people, they would put the belt on the Honky Tonk Man, who was still kind of a joke character at that point, and a heel that the fans really did not take seriously at all during that time. And so for him to catch this upset win here over Ricky Steamboat, I thought was crazy. And you had Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura on the call. They sold it wonderfully. Vince McMahon is like, I can't believe this. And Jesse Ventura is marking out. And he points out almost immediately, he's like, can you believe it that Jimmy Hart now manages the tag team champions and the Intercontinental champion? 3 out of the 4 champions are now managed by Jimmy Hart. That's crazy. And for that time, when you only had the World IC and tags, and title switches did not happen nearly as frequently as they do now, you know, once, twice a year at the most for a lot of these belts. And to see that was quite shocking. And it was kind of a goofy finish where Steamboat had Honky pinned. Referee had his back turned. Honky gets up, jumps Steamboat from behind. Steamboat rolls Honky up for a small package. They get tied up in the ropes. Honky has got his arms in the ropes, but he's got Steamboat's shoulders pinned to the mat. The referee counts the 1, 2, 3. There's confusion. Vince doesn't know what's going on. Jesse doesn't know what's going on. Finally, referee raises the hand of the Honky Tonk Man, and Vince and Jesse lose their shit. I mean, it was a great moment looking back, and it would lead to the longest-running Intercontinental title reign of all time. I mean, Honky still owns that record. He probably will until the end of time. And it's amazing how things turn out. Honky Tonk Man just went into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. And without this upset victory over Ricky Steamboat, who knows, you know, where his career would have taken him. He probably still would have been there and been the Honky Tonk Man for a few years, but as far as having that Intercontinental title run on his resume, probably not. And the only reason Ricky the Dragon Steamboat dropped the belt to begin with was because the story goes that he requested time off. His wife was pregnant with his first kid, I believe. He wanted to take some time off or work a lighter schedule or do something, but he was the champion. Vince needed him to be on the road and working a full schedule. He said no, so he made Ricky drop the belt, and then he gave him the break, but he made him drop the belt before. So that's a shame. It's a shame that the pregnancy kind of landed right there, because after that long build with Savage and everything they did late 86, moving into their WrestleMania 3 match in 87, I cannot believe that after that huge victory in front of 90,000 people, at WrestleMania. Just, 2 months later, 3 months later, he's turning around and dropping that belt to the fucking Honky Tonk Man, who in the 1980s would have been the equivalent of The Miz in 2011 or 2010. So as a kid, I remember being so disappointed. I was mad. I was yelling in the living room, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Even I couldn't believe it. I'm pretty sure I dropped the F-bomb. But I didn't know it was really Ricky Steamboat's choice. He wanted the time off, and they stripped him of the belt because of it. So it kind of sucks. I would have liked to see Steamboat have a longer run. Had none of that happen and you could change history, I would have loved to see Steamboat hold that belt for maybe a year. Maybe drop it at WrestleMania 4. Maybe set up a Savage Steamboat rematch down the road. I pitched that idea for WrestleMania 4 in the tournament, a babyface match. They could have done it again. They could have done a lot with this Intercontinental title run, and if he was going to drop it, I would not have had it be against the Honky Tonk Man. I'd rather him drop it to Rick Rude or even Butch Reed or someone like that. So it's interesting how things work out, but it was a pretty memorable title change in WWE history because of what it led to. You know, Honky Tonk Man had one of the most unlikely and longest title runs in professional wrestling history, and that is nothing to take lightly. So I thought it would be fun to take a look back at that match. If you're young and you have never seen it, it's not much of a match. It's not like it's the greatest wrestling match of all time. It's really not. It didn't go very long. I don't feel like the two had very good chemistry. And then the end, the hokey-ass finish there was curtains for old Steamboat, and Honky Tonk Man would go on to run with that title for over a year, like 14 months or something ridiculous, until the Warrior finally squashed him at SummerSlam in '88. But anyway, nice little piece of WWE history, the day that Honky Tonk Man defeated Ricky Steamboat for the Intercontinental title. Y'all be good. I'll catch you real soon. Peace.